Welcome back, everybody, to This Podcast Should Be Played Loud. So originally, the Cher episode was really going to be one, at least this initial run of the 80s that we're talking about. But as we mentioned last time, we were at the 2-hour mark and barely halfway through. So we decided to save the best for last. Now we're going to talk about the other three films that all simultaneously happened the same year that eventually lead to Cher winning the Oscar. How is everybody? How we doing?
Great. Welcome back, Marie. Thanks for doing a part two with us.
My pleasure. It was, became fairly apparent that this was going to happen once we were 3 hours in and hadn't gotten, to Suspect or what is it called again?
We need time to talk about Suspects, certainly. We initially thought it was a great cutoff kind of to talk about the 80s, and then we could do the 80s kind of on for the rest of her career eventually, which I'm sure we will do. But, her output significantly, tapers off as you get through the 80s and 90s and 2000s and, get into some of the, iconic kind of camp of like burlesque. And I
Right.
guess, I don't know if Mamma Mia counts as camp, but like, those type of things. But today we're going to talk about her 1987 with George Miller's The Witches of Eastwick, Peter Yates' Suspect, and Norman Jewison's Moonstruck. I probably first saw The Witches of Eastwick. I definitely saw some of it as a kid. My parents probably rented it in the early 90s, and it freaked me out a lot because it was like sort of cartoony, so it like appealed to me, and then it was like very scarily sexy and then also scarily scary. So I had like this kind of memory of it, and then I probably never watched it in full until Marie's podcast Blank Check covered George Miller like a few years ago, and it's really terrific. Like, it's a really fun, great, funny, sexy movie that stars three of the most beautiful women who ever lived, like on screen together at the same time.
Yeah. I would say I have never, other than Moonstruck, I hadn't seen any of these movies before. So you guys probably have a lot more context with them. Marie, when did you see Witches of Eastwick?
I honestly forget why I watched it for the first time. It was definitely pre my knowing George Miller directed it, because I don't think I realized that until much later. But it wasn't, I don't have any like childhood memories of being like sexually stupefied by it.
That's a great way to put it. That is what I was.
But I think it, like, I knew that the movie was, had big movie stars in it, and was somewhat successful film. I didn't know it was based on a controversial It's John Updike book.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which
which is weird for him. I wonder how it differs tonally. I'd have to imagine that this is the kind of movie that George Miller used as a blueprint, or used the book as a blueprint to just kind of go ham in his own interpretation. But I could be wrong. I
don't know the book, but it's an interesting sort of point. It's really Miller's kind of, for like it comes in a weird point in his career, because his first movie is Mad Max, his second movie is Mad Max 2, or The Road Warrior. His third movie is the segment in The Cursed, Twilight Zone, the movie.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's like the best one.
Which it is, but like I feel like everybody involved in that gets dinged for it because of the tragedy that happened, which obviously
Well,
Miller had nothing to do with. And then he makes Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. So he had like only made Mad Max movies basically. And like, yes, like they were increasingly sort of Hollywood, adjacent and like, released wide and whatever. But like, I think The Witches of Eastwick is his first sort of, full feature that is, homegrown, in Hollywood. He is hired, to make, and it's produced by, legendary producer and psychopath John Peters, Barbara Streisand's former hairdresser who ended up running a studio. We could do an entire podcast on him.
Uh-huh.
He's the character that Bradley Cooper's based on in Licorice
plays.
Pizza. Yeah,
right.
Licorice Pizza. Right.
So you can just imagine him. Just imagine him on the set with George Miller, coming off of 3 Mad Max movies, and Jack Nicholson. Like, it's just insane to think about.
Well, it's definitely the film I reacted to the most. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's inventive. It's sleazy, and I mean, even just all right. So we can get into the plot, right? You have these 3 recent divorcees that all live in this small town, and I feel like
not totally accurate. Sorry.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
quick
Sorry. All right. No.
correction.
Then you guys. Yeah. Sorry.
Because it's one is a widow, one's husband divorced her because she got pregnant too many times, and the other woman's husband divorced her because she couldn't have kids.
Exactly. There we go.
They're all 3 of them are single, but under different circumstances. And the town is very stereotypical New England, waspy.
Yeah.
Everyone knows each other's business, and these 3 women are kind of considered outsiders a bit because of the fact that they are all single women of a certain age. Right. Cher's character, I believe her name is Alex, is a sculptor, and she kind of like lives in like a shack on the river, which is like very cool. Mm-hmm. And her art is basically just like making different versions of the Venus of Willendorf statue over and over again. Susan Sarandon is a music teacher and cellist who's very uptight, and severe looking. And Michelle Pfeiffer is a reporter at the local newspaper. And all 3 of them get together for drinks and to blow off steam. And they don't realize that the 3 of them getting together is unwittingly forming a coven.
Yes.
Right.
And
what I couldn't figure out is like, was he attracted to their, when I say he, we say this Jack Nicholson character who then is the strange man that comes into town and captures their curiosity, who is a demon or the devil or some kind of Rumpelstiltskin.
Van Horn.
Daryl Van Horn.
Okay. Daryl
Van Horn. Very, very subtle reference to the devil. I think that he is ostensibly the devil. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what I didn't understand is like, was he attracted to their natural abilities to conjure him as witches, or does he essentially grant them these powers by his arrival? Is he in control of the situation, at least in the beginning?
I sort of took it as like, yeah, I don't know. It's like these women sort of create this power out of their own, the way that they just kind of come together and sort of create this allure, and that like draws him, like.
Right.
Sort of not.
It is
not
a little
on purpose,
Rumpelstiltskinish, right? Where it's it's in the moment of need.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like he comes to exist because they come to exist. Like that's sort of how I read it, and that they're they're perfect for each other in a way, but that is also obviously destructive to all of them, and certainly the town, and certainly to poor Veronica Cartwright, who is not the voice of Bart Simpson, which I always get confused about. Nancy Cartwright is
Nancy Cartwright.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't believe they're related either.
So they're not related, but Angela and Veronica Cartwright are sisters, and one of them is Brigitte in The Sound of Music, and the other one is in Alien.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So she's Brigitte, like as a little kid or whatever, the sister.
Yes.
Okay. And then this one, Veronica Cartwright is an alien.
That's an alien. Yeah.
But for a long time, I thought this woman was the voice of Bart Simpson. I always was like, isn't that cool that the woman from Alien is the voice of Bart Simpson? What a cool career.
Well, the voice of Bart Simpson does have a famous relative. Do you know who that is?
No.
Sabrina Carpenter. She's
what?
Sabrina Carpenter's aunt, Nancy Cartwright.
No fucking way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I hope we get a Bart Simpson cameo in the
next,
Nepos.
the Nepos will never
running wild.
Will never stop.
Yeah.
They're running wild.
What is it? I always think of that meme when it's like it's like never ask a woman her age and never ask an indie artist why their parents' name is highlighted on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get all right. So the devil comes to town, and this is like my favorite my favorite series of sequences in this whole movie that's just sort of drumming up to the the eventual conclusion. But initially, the seductions are so fun because he's playing all these different kind of archetypes. And I feel like initially, so he seduces Cher by just being an outright pig, but then kind of like outlining the boredom of her life as a contrast. And then he ingratiates himself to Susan Sarandon musically, only to then like neg her technique and like just sort of like masterclassing her, which I thought the fiddle touch was perfect. All right, yeah. In fact, yes, you're right. Obviously, it's the devil. The devil went down to Georgia,
right?
If it was upping the stakes, I will say I initially felt a little less impressed about like the Pfeiffer seduction. I guess he appeals to her fertility, sort of seeing it as a feature rather than a defect, which I guess was, what her previous husband had left her for. And then I guess it's like he kind of uses like the lack of a pitch as a template for her to project whatever kind of man she wants him to be. That was kind of what I drew from it, because the first two were like so engineered and so devilish. And the third one feels like kind of, I guess by that point they're in the mansion.
Right. It's also sort of interesting that the third one happens kind of in front of them and with them,
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like he's already sort of, brought them in, and Michelle Pfeiffer's the last to join.
Right. Yeah. I guess it's slowly setting the stage for this bizarre psychosexual menage a quatre, But I guess
it's an unconventional polyamorous relationship.
It was a polycule.
It's a polycule.
It's obviously a polycule. You guys are right. Yeah.
And it's like working out for them, until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't. I kind of wish that it had because there's a minute. There's a while where especially like once he's seduced them and like the pink balloons that look like breasts, are just like just floating while they perform this like bizarre ice capade. I kind of wanted more of that. I would have been happy of the film if it was just like, wow, the devil's such a nice guy. He's invited them to live with him, and he just seems like a really multifaceted.
They're just having fun.
He's like kind of a male
Nicholson
feminist,
is really,
which is like a classic grift too.
He's also sort of now more full going into like slightly middle-aged / old man, and has this ponytail, and it's real like this is what the ideal male body looks like, like
For sure.
This is peak performance.
He's already kind of grotesque, which is what I love about it.
And like he's got he's balding kind of, and he's got his ponytail, and he doesn't give a shit. He's sexy as fuck. Like that. This is working.
One of, I think, the best parts of the movie is this like mini monologue that Cher gives when he's attempting to seduce her, and she's like, and it's just like she is so good at delivering these like withering dismissals of people, or telling someone off, like she does in Mask too, like in the opening scene with like the new school principal. Or,
right, yeah.
I just want to hear, and she does it again in Moonstruck. Like I need, you know how like sometimes you're like, damn, I want like that woman to like step on my neck. Like, no, I want Cher to like step on my neck and insult me. But I pulled up the monologue.
Would you like to perform it for us, please?
Yes, thank you, Chad.
How's your Cher voice? Can you do like a sort of a...
I think. No.
So that's not how she talks. I guess it's more how she sings.
I think. No, I am positive that you are the most unattractive man I have ever met in my entire life. You know, in the short time we've been together, you have demonstrated every loathsome characteristic of the male personality and even discovered a few new ones. You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, you're morally reprehensible, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid, you have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell. You're not even interesting enough to make me sick. I mean, that's great. Thank you.
It's great.
But it's just
it is interesting because it's also like, and you're right. Similar, I guess, you know, she doesn't end up having a whirlwind romance with the principal in Mask, but like it's interesting that in this and in Moonstruck, where she sort of does something similar, she does a good job of sort of selling that like, I hate you, and then she like kisses him at the end of it, and like it obviously like. That is very much like a movie trope and like and a little ridiculous, but like she just kind of sells it. Like she makes it believable, you know? And then right. I mean, especially if you have somebody like Nicholson and or Nick Cage where they do have this sort of like, you know, quality of they're you know, ugly hot or whatever, you
right.
know? Not to skip ahead, but I was watching Moonstruck with Franny, and she had seen it before, but I was like, do you think Cage is hot in this movie? And she was like, he's ugly hot. And like, I get it.
Maybe,
and like,
has Nicholson always been ugly hot? I guess
no, I think he was hot in the 70s. Like, Marie, you tell me. I mean, I think that he is, I think that he is hot in Chinatown. No,
sure.
He's always had a weird hairline.
Well, like, which apparently is back, by the way.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, I just think any of like the leading men in the 70s, with the exception of Redford and Newman, they're all kind of ugly hot. Like even De Niro. Like there's something that's what makes them such compelling screen presences and why their careers have been so long.
The exception of Beatty as well, I think.
Yeah. Yes. So there's like three hot guys, and the rest of them are like character actors who were able to be leading men.
The rest of them could have all played Ratso Rizzo in Midnight Cowboy, basically.
Yeah. Fair. But he does have like well, by the way, the reference to the receding hairline being back in vogue is Walter Goggins, of course. He seems to be owning it quite severely. Actually, is he hot? Do you find him attractive, Marie?
Oh, I forgot to send you this on the group chat, Marie. I was watching a trailer today, and there was a Walmart commercial with Walton Goggins and a horse, and I was wondering if he also had to unfollow the horse on Instagram after filming, so because he couldn't handle having a relationship still.
It's just getting to the point where I'm like, God, I don't care.
I know. Are you following this drama, Alan? This is gonna date this episode. but it's
Yeah.
fine.
I don't, because I haven't watched The Righteous Gemstones nor White Lotus. My brother's the one that's
Okay.
telling me he's having his 15 minutes or not 15 minutes. He is a very talented.
No, he's
character
great.
actor,
He's
yeah.
super talented.
But he was telling me he's particularly popular right now.
There's just
but I
this
don't
thing with his
follow
White
it.
Lotus co-star, the woman, and they're both protesting quite a lot about their relationship while making the show.
Okay, gotcha.
So who knows?
And it's no longer a Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell, this is good promo for whatever we're doing.
Right.
Or
It's the show ended 2 months ago.
You're a man who's almost 60. What are we doing here? This is ridiculous, but whatever.
This is why celebrities shouldn't be on social media.
Yeah,
the less we know about
you're right. Actually, I think you're right. But I did want to ask kind of Marie, apart from the what do we think of Cher and her character in this movie and her sort of Cher-ness and coming off of Mask and first of all, where were the other two ladies in their career and does it feel right? Does the trio feel right? I guess Susan Sarandon is coming off of The Hunger, right? One of Alan's favorite movies.
It's up there.
And is Bull Durham before or after this?
Bull Durham is the year after.
After this, right.
So her major movies she's in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Right.
Yes.
Famously not seen by me.
Yes. Pretty Baby.
Only saw it recently, and she is an absolute babe in that.
Nice.
Atlantic City, I think, was a bigger breakthrough for her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty Baby. That you really just skipped right past that.
We're not going to talk about
that movie
one.
that we don't want to talk about.
Alan, do you know what Pretty Baby is?
I don't.
It's Brooke Shields plays a child prostitute with several nude scenes.
Oh God!
While being a child,
being an actual child.
Is this post Blue Lagoon or pre Blue Lagoon?
Pre Blue Lagoon.
Pre.
Oh my God!
She's 7 years old. It is.
That's brutal.
Well, maybe she's a little older. I don't know. I've seen the movie once. It's directed
by Louis Malle, right?
But it's directed by Louis Malle. But is it?
And it's produced by Polly Platt, or at least she did She was the production designer, yeah.
An American production?
No, she wrote the screenplay.
Oh my God.
I had no idea about this movie.
Yes. Yeah, it's an American production, I think, yeah.
That's a big yikes for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the movie is, I've seen it. It's, I don't think it's a bad movie.
I didn't know
but
Sarandon was in it, but then interesting, because
she
then
plays the mother.
Oh, wow. And then Atlantic City is Louis Malle as well, which has been on my list forever and I've never seen.
And then The Hunger is probably the movie that we are most familiar with that came out in the run-up to this.
Okay.
Got it.
And then Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, she had done Grease 2, Scarface, Lady Hawk, and then Sweet Liberty, directed by Alan Alda. That's interesting. But people knew her. Lady Hawk, I think, was a fairly big movie, and she's kind of the lead of it.
And Scarface was.
Yeah,
I mean
Scarface
that was
too, right?
huge for sure.
So these are up and coming, famous ladies that the public knows and likes, but are not huge A-list movie stars yet.
Right. Although you could argue that much in the same way that Batman had casted Nicholson to bring a certain legitimacy, or just a certain stature to the project, that a casting like this where it's okay, I mean, they're almost kind of saying that it's 3 of these up-and-comers are the equivalent of one horny little devil named Jack Nicholson.
Well, you have Jack Nicholson and the 3 hottest women alive, basically. It sells itself,
I don't think you could have cast anyone but Jack.
Oh my God.
100%. I don't. Well, it's interesting because who the Wikipedia mentions as they almost cast, or that they had cast and he dropped out. Bill
Who?
Murray.
What? I mean,
It's a different movie.
It's a different movie.
It is. But I could see that. It doesn't work because, like, I mean, despite his recent behavior, Bill Murray doesn't like radiate sexual energy in the way that like that this character needs to.
I mean, Nicholson does, but also in such it's like a disgusting fast food, you know. I mean,
It is, but you also have to consider, like,
he's not a steak.
He's a notorious stick man.
Of course.
As we know, and like certainly the audience was aware of in 1987. You know,
right.
like, it's, you know, so and it's like it is kind of the perfect thing. It is like proto Joker. It's like Nicholson is the devil that everybody loves. Like, that's it. Like, that's exactly his persona.
To wine and dine you so he can spread his rotten seed. He's this like upstate nightmare, this well-read, wealthy piece of shit who wants to give you Eden in exchange for your soul. That's yeah.
But he will give you Eden. He will take you out. He will take you out to eat. He will bring you to his mansion. He will, you know, give you an orgasm. But he's the devil.
Right. It is a different movie with Murray. It's a funny, actually, no, I wouldn't say it's a funnier movie. It's just a different quality. I'm trying to imagine what he would have brought to it, if not just this sort of like sardonic, Scrooged type, you know.
Right. It would have been very Scrooged-esque, I feel like.
Has
and I wonder if
particularly scary or threatening in anything.
Is Murray scary or threatening in anything? I mean, it depends if you're a PA on a Aziz Ansari
I mean,
movie.
I knew you were going to make that joke, but like on screen.
Was that too obvious?
No.
He's kind of a bastard in Scrooged in a way that does have an edge.
But he's like whiny. He's like corporate annoying. Like, I don't know.
He does it for
laughs. He does dress some
that.
people down in that movie. But no, it's a good question. I mean, I've never seen
like a knife to my throat.
Sure, right.
It, you know?
I've never seen that movie he made with his best friend, the writer of Scrooged, with him and Mickey Rourke. That's like has like devil qualities to it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
No,
you're not talking about the De Niro, Rourke, Lionheart.
No. This guy Mitch Glazer, who's a dude that like I think is like very good friends with Murray because he keeps doing movies with him, and this guy wrote like Rock the Casbah as well, like some of his worst shit. There's a movie called Passion Play, is what it's called.
Oh yeah, is that the one with J-Lo?
Mickey Rourke, Megan Fox, and Bill Murray.
Oh no, I'm thinking of Blood and Wine, which is Nicholson and J-Lo.
Correct. Yes, that's a different movie, but
but you do make a good point that it's like Murray could have done this movie up until the third act when you really need the devil to come out.
I think that's a good point. Oh, sorry. Just to get off the Murray tangent, but he does play a Dick Cheney stand-in in The Limits of Control and is like pretty good in that. But yes, I don't think that the turn of the movie's not as menacing with Murray. Like Nicholson has that, and also like Murray is sort of like, what's the word, like Larcant, like he's like there's a laziness to him that's likable, but Nicholson is
lackadaisical.
He's kind of lackadaisical, where Nicholson is manic in a way that like this movie needs, and George Miller's films are manic, you know, like so they are a really good match together. And you know, some of this I'm remembering from the Blank Check episode, so I don't want to regurgitate it, but I know that like Miller fought with John Peters a bunch because, you know, obviously I think John Peters liked fighting with people, and Nicholson really, really had his back, and like, you know, was so powerful then that like this kind of like you know, Australian new to Hollywood or whatever, like Nicholson really, really backed him, which is awesome. And it's kind of a bummer they never worked together again, because I do think it is a good.
It's a good match.
It was a good match of sensibilities.
I wanted to ask. Actually, no, Marie, you asked us a question when we put the bookend on the first part. So let's go ahead and let's go to that topic, because after watching this movie, the question begs:
Is this who is the sexiest of the women? Is this the question?
Yeah.
So Chad, when you were talking about coming across this as a child, who were you the most intrigued by?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things like, God, what is the answer here, man? I mean, I feel like the sort of obvious and like basic answer is Michelle Pfeiffer, in the sense that she's the youngest, she's blonde, she's kind of perfect looking or whatever. But like, I think once Susan Sarandon has her transformation, like, holy shit, man. I mean, my God.
I'm gonna pick Susan Sarandon as well. I think that not just as a musician did it speak to me, but yeah, there is a sort of like the sophisticated, I don't know, that seduction scene, I think for me was the hottest. And
she's so uptight.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
There's more of a transformation.
You could make the argument for the piano teacher, uptight version of Susan Sarandon before she gets her makeover.
Even hotter,
too. Yes.
Yeah. Agreed. I think, you had a term. It was like the something answer, Michelle Pfeiffer, the real answer, Susan Sarandon. But are we all in accordance with this? Is this...
Do you agree, Marie, or are you going to make the argument for Cher, who is, I mean, let's be clear, is incredibly beautiful as well?
Oh, yeah.
Of
course.
As a woman?
As a woman? Okay.
As a woman, like, I think Cher... Cher's lesbian energy is just really attractive, because she's so powerful and, is able to hold her own. I think there's something like very vulnerable about the other two women that I think she doesn't really possess, that I can understand. Right.
She's kind of
why
the adult
straight
in
men
the
are
room.
more into her or into them. But yeah, I mean, they're all gorgeous. So it's kind of a...
And I will say that she does lead the charge in the end to, when you were talking about stepping on his neck, she does dom Nicholson pretty hard at the end. I guess when they find his book, I mean, that's when the movie sort of, regresses back into being like a genre movie where it's like, well, now we got to use the magic book to use his own magic against him and reduce him into this tiny mass, this really emaciated. At the end, he just becomes like a tiny pair of balls for a stiletto to just stomp on and destroy.
Yeah, like all bullies, he's ultimately just a little boy at the end. I was texting with one of you, or maybe it was with on our group chat, but about like comparing this movie to Practical Magic, which I think is interesting, which I haven't seen in maybe since VHS, and now they're doing a legacy sequel of it. I don't know if I don't know if
I've actually never seen it.
Oh, interesting.
It's Sandra Bullock, right? I haven't seen it since I was a
kid.
Nicole
Kidman.
And Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. I just remember when they're conjuring him, and it's like he has to be able to ride a horse backwards, and he's got to have one blue and one green eye, or something like that. They make this impossible list of standards that he would need to meet, therefore he doesn't exist. But then, lo and behold, a stranger comes into town.
That's what happens in Practical Magic? Because that's what happens in this movie.
That's what I remember. Oh, no,
that's what I'm saying. They're similar.
Sure. But one's a rom-com and the other's like a,
Marie,
like a wet fever dream.
If I gave you 1,000,000 guesses on who was directing Practical Magic 2, you wouldn't guess it.
Isn't the original director really random? Like, isn't it Griffin Dunn or something?
It's Griffin Dunn.
What?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool to hear.
But who's directing the remake? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, no, the sequel.
Oh, the sequel, and it's not Griffin Dunn.
It sure isn't.
Is it a male or a female?
It's a female. You'll never get it. I mean, she directed a big movie with Sandra Bullock that I did not know she directed.
Suzanne Bier.
Yes. Wow.
She
well
directed
done.
Bird Box.
Yes. Well done.
Okay,
But this
wow.
is like a, sort of serious. Where's she from? Norway or whatever?
I think she's Danish.
Danish. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen anything she's directed, but just very funny. But I was talking to somebody, I guess it wasn't either of you, but it's just interesting that, like, I think Practical Magic is it's a comfier movie sort of aesthetically, but is sort of more regressive in terms of its, like, message and sort of what happens in it. But it's interesting that one has sort of endured because it has a kind of like comfy autumnal sweater weather kind of feeling to it, where this movie is very madcap and aggressive and sort of wide angle lens and cartoony, and it's just interesting that they have very similar premises. They're 10 years apart.
Sweater weather is like the proto pumpkin spice season.
Yes, it's a very pumpkin spice
yeah.
latte movie.
Yeah,
is what I remember
for sure.
And you have two obviously two later iconic stars of that movie, but it's just interesting kind of how their legacies kind of matured, because I don't think people really remember this movie that well. And don't remember that George Miller made it and et cetera, where it was a humongous hit and, like, I feel like had a tail in the 90s, but now has sort of fallen off. Maybe just because it's so sort of grotesquely horny, and that makes like Gen Z uncomfortable.
That's probably part of it, but I also think that, like, I mean, it did. Which one was first? Was it Nick Roge's Witches or this one? Because I feel like there was a wave.
This one.
This
Okay,
is
so
first.
this-
end of the
Nick
decade.
Rogue's
So there's like
Witches is 3 years
I think
later,
like the
which is also a good movie.
I think Hocus Pocus and stuff. I mean, I think because there was a series of these type of movies, it kind of got lost in the sauce. I think that especially if you're a millennial, what you remember from this, is probably Practical Magic, which came later, and you remember Hocus Pocus, but you don't remember these kind of more adult witch movies.
Okay, but like both Hocus Pocus and I think there's like always there's a winning ratio for like how much adult content can be like shoehorned into a child's movie and how much like child's content can be shoehorned into an adult's movie. I think the problem with Witches of Eastwick versus the other two is that I think people in our generation have nostalgic feelings for the children's movies that maybe were a little too adult, but we saw anyway. Right. And they had an impact on us as children. Whereas I didn't see Witches of Eastwick until I was an adult. But as I'm watching it as an adult, I'm like, is this for kids? Like, it's not.
No,
but
it's not.
It definitely.
I mean, my parents would have
like
let me
who
watch
is this
it.
For?
Probably thinking
right, but they maybe would have let you watch it. You're right, and it's also a sort of thing of like they don't really make adult movies that have. I mean, I'm thinking this as I'm saying it, so maybe there's an obvious million counterexamples, but like they don't really make adult movies with fantasy elements anymore. Right. And like, no, Marvel does not count. Those are not movies for adults. Like. Meaning a movie that is like sexy and violent and like, but like funny and cheeky and sort of, not taking place in reality. That feels like a genre that is highly diminished at this point.
1,000%.
Monkey Bone vibes.
Yeah, sure. Or like but like Tim Burton is in everything that you just described, like Tim Burton is the guy that threaded that needle. Yeah. Incredibly well for a decade.
Yeah. But now he's just making movies for kids. And
I mean, is that who they're for? I don't know. Like, I don't even know what he's doing anymore. Have you seen the Pee-wee doc yet, Alan? It's really good.
Dude, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's so sad too.
So sad.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I'd heard from like apparently the Pee-wee script that he wanted the softies to direct. That I forget where I.
You mean the Apatow produced one that Paul Rust
after
wrote?
that he had another one that was supposed to be like a lot darker, and it was about the pitfalls of fame. Yes,
I think
really?
that's how
I didn't hear this at all.
Yes, and he
that
wanted
was,
the
I think
Softy
that's how
brothers.
Alara ended up producing this doc.
Oh,
My guess is that's about as close as they could get to working with him and tolerate him, because I mean, from what I gathered from the
it doesn't seem like an easy
guy to work with, and rightfully so. He got fucked over in such in such unfathomable ways, just at multiple periods in his career.
But it is sort of, I mean, I don't know. I thought the Paul Rust written movie was pretty good. Whatever, the Netflix movie. It's the guy from Wonder Shows and directed that, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that movie was pretty good. And then I don't know, not to get off on the tangent, but it was just funny to me. I mean, it was one of the saddest parts of that doc to me was just him being like, talking about the aftermath of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and what a huge hit it was, and how famous he was, and getting on every talk show and all this stuff, and talking about how he was jealous of all the attention that Tim Burton was getting. And I'm like, dude, like, your name is in the title of the movie. Like,
there was it's not his name, it's Pee-wee.
Yeah.
I know, but he also made that choice to make that himself.
But he wanted to be a performance artist. That's the thing. Yeah. It was the first real like marketable. I feel like it's funny that they put that out and the Andy Kaufman doc, because it's like of those two characters, I would say that the first like superstar marketable performance artist was Pee-wee. It was like, and it had to happen through the lens of comedy, right? But I had no idea.
Separate from his name or whatever. I know what you mean.
Well, yeah. Right. The idea that you're playing a character all the time, because I mean, one of the most fascinating things, at least in the first episode, was just that like there were news articles that were just referring to him as Pee-wee, and like fake pictures of where he lived, and like it really was just a relentless commitment, which I could imagine that would have its like psychological toll, especially under the microscope of like overnight superstardom.
Now we can maybe move on to a not so great film.
I was gonna say, it's good that we padded some time talking about Tim Burton and Pee-wee.
Yes,
because Suspect was a very mid movie.
Yes,
I do want to say there is a connection between Pee-wee and Cher. She appears in the famous Pee-wee Playhouse Christmas special, which is the year after we're talking about. So after she wins an Oscar, after she's in 3 movies in 1 year.
Also, dude, that special is so queer-coded. How was anybody surprised that he was gay?
Yeah.
It's like Grace Jones is in it. It's amazing. It
was a different time, I guess.
And
I don't know.
Charo was cuchi.
Weren't like women attracted to Liberace or whatever? Like people just didn't know. Like they were just like, oh, it's as good that men like
but it's different.
It's
a different thing. It certainly was a different time, but it's a different thing being, everybody kind of knows you're gay and they don't talk about it, versus like you're masturbating in a gay porn theater and you look like Charles Manson.
It was actually straight porn.
I was gonna say,
really?
Was it gay porn? Yeah, it was just that he.
Porn.
Yeah,
it was straight porn.
And also, I will say, if you had to have a beard wife, Debbie Mazar, amazing,
perfect.
She is a great one. Yes.
Yeah.
She was like, so what? He was gay. Who cares? Like, we got
I loved her so. I mean, also just amazing real wife to have, but as a beard wife, like that. Imagining them roaming around 90s Los Angeles and like getting drunk at the Viper Room or something like that,
going to like flea markets and estate sales. Like,
I love it.
All just wearing Todd Oldham clothes. Yeah, I mean, I would thrive in that scenario.
You could have done it, but so Suspect,
which
none of us. Okay, I think Marie and I had seen all of the movies that we've talked about on this 80s thing, except for Suspect, and Alan kind of didn't really want to bother with this one. but we were like, it should be fun to talk about and watch something that we haven't seen before. And
Sure.
it does have a really good pedigree. So this is kind of a courtroom drama with a demented plot, but it's directed by Peter Yates, who directed Bullet and The Friends of Eddie Coyle and Breaking Away and The Hot Rock, a bunch of great fucking movies. It's written by Eric Roth, who wrote Forrest Gump, The Insider, Munich, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The New Star is Born, and Dune, and Killers of the Flower Moon, although he didn't actually.
Oh, wow.
But one of the
Dune,
greatest...
which Dune? New Dune, old Dune?
The New Dune.
New Dune.
New Dune.
So one of the great Hollywood screenwriters, an early original screenplay by him. And then, stars Cher, Dennis Quaid, Liam Neeson, John Mahoney, and Joe Mantegna. So we were like, how bad could this be? It also made $80 million. Like, it was a huge hit. Like,
also, I love courtroom drama.
Me too. Yeah.
Those are normally just like 2.5 stars is like as low
as a also, like, this cast list is like the Vince McMahon meme. Like, not only is the people that I just mentioned in it, but Fred Melamed,
Liam Neeson.
I said Liam Neeson, Richard E. Grant, Bill Cobbs. It's down on the line. There's just like great actors in this thing. The movie's like less than okay.
Okay, I think my feeling about it, and also, I mean, look, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I wanted to see it because of Peter Yates. I mean, Friends of Eddie Coyle is like one of my all-timers.
Yeah.
And Eric Roth, actually, it's funny, I finally watched The Insider a few nights ago.
Oh,
great
man.
fucking
What a
script.
picture.
That is one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, that was great. But I there was some very solid scenes, but my problem was that, like, as it progressed, it required increasingly more and more suspension of disbelief for a lot of like the clunky plot developments. Like, a law clerk is given some cassette by a trial judge or something. Yeah, basically, like, it starts with this like temp clerk that's given some asset, some folder. And then the next morning, she is found by the police, dead under some bridge. This homeless man, played by Liam Neeson, is accused of the murder, and Cher is assigned as the public defender. So basically, then, as the trial begins, this political lobbyist, played by Dennis Quaid, is brought in for jury duty, and seems to know something about the case or the circumstances, whether that's explicit or just a hunch. He starts trying to, I guess, get her attention or like meddle with the case on her behalf, like leading her to new evidence, despite the fact that she knows that it's that it could render it a mistrial, and that it's like a huge faux pas. No, not a faux pas, against the law for him to interfere. But it begins this, I guess, spicy, dangerous romance between them as they start kind of uncovering this conspiracy. Is that, would you describe that? That's the plot of Suspect. Yeah. It's not particularly boilerplate. It is somewhat original, but just the places that it goes are really stupid.
There's also part of the opening sequence is we see like a judge, and I don't remember if it was like a Supreme Court judge or some sort of like big time judge. He's the one that hands this woman the tape. But then he takes out a shotgun and shoots himself in his office.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It was
so he was obviously giving her something that he felt so guilty about, that it needed to be given to some third party. I guess because here, we'll say in the plot, a law clerk stumbled onto something while working on the transcripts of a 17-year-old case. She approached the trial judge, who gave her a cassette before committing suicide. So our understanding, the conspiracy is that she knew something about somebody, and who it winds up being is Fraser's dad, and it's really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Sorry, no
Who's
spoiler
the
alerts.
judge?
Who's
The judge in the
How
case.
did that? Yes.
Fraser's dad. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Who? Wait, what's his name? John
Mahoney.
Yeah, John Mahoney.
Great character actor. Also, kind of plays like similar parts around this time. Like he's also in The American President, Primal Fear, like In the Line of Fire.
Say Anything.
Well, of course, Say Anything. Yes.
He's kind of plays the same character where it's like someone that we think is like morally pious and virtuous, and then winds up being a piece of shit.
Yeah,
a self-righteous piece of shit.
He's got like wasp face, but less English and more Irish, where you're like, you could be a scumbag. I don't know. But no offense to.
So you're saying all Irish people could be scumbags. Got it. Okay.
I'm just saying it's more likely than not. But no, this movie was so disappointing to me because I just went on this whole thing about how Cher is really good at giving people dressing down. She's really good at delivering monologues. So if you're like, oh, Cher's going to be an attorney and we're going to trial, like, yes, give me those closing arguments.
And she's gonna yell at Joe Mantegna. Like, come on.
Yeah. Great. But no, I was like a fucking snooze fest.
Yeah. It's really just kind of boring. Like, that's its biggest sin. Like, it's got a lot of elements and juice and stuff. It just kind of is a snooze, you know? I don't
did
know.
we talk about how Liam Neeson is deaf?
Right. He's a homeless deaf
mute.
guy. Deaf mute.
Yeah.
Who like, you know, maybe murdered this person, but probably not. And there's a bunch of scenes where Cher is just dragging up and it's just kind of, and it's like I remember seeing that in the first 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's cinematic. We're gonna be doing this shit for the rest of the fucking movie.
We're doing
we sure are. Like,
it's The Miracle Workers starring Cher and Liam Neeson. Dennis Quaid, though, I mean, he's good in the role.
He's such a smarmy little fuckhead, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's good in the role.
Why was I just thinking about Dennis Quaid? Oh, well, I was just listening to Marie on a great podcast called Podcast Like It's the 2000s, and she guested on an episode about Far From Heaven, a masterpiece. And Dennis Quaid, this movie is sort of his role in this is kind of the exact midpoint between his character in Far From Heaven and his character in Reagan. Ronald Reagan. So yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, he's playing smarmy little dickheads in a lot of stuff.
And I talk about that on the episode, but he's like just a confusing presence for me because of how he can sway from. He can do things like The Substance and Far From Heaven that kind of critique
guys like him. Yes,
Hollywood Republican persona.
Right.
And then he's still, it's so, it's.
When I was listening to that and sort of talking back to the episode, it was like, I think that he just likes money, and he, I'm sure The Substance paid very well. And he was like, yeah, I can play this dickhead. Like, so what, like, it's not like, I don't think I can't imagine he thinks too complicated about The Substance is like queer coded, feminist, like whatever. He's just like, oh, this guy's a douchebag. Great. Does the check clear? I can do it. Yeah.
So this is also just to start talking about this because I definitely want to talk about it with Moonstruck. I believe this is the first film where Cher's love interest is noticeably younger than she is.
Oh, interesting.
So I actually looked it up.
Is he though? Dennis Quaid?
He is, I think he's 8 years younger than her.
Okay.
Which isn't that huge. It's not as significant as her real life relationship in 1987.
Sure.
But it's something that, like, Sam Elliott in Mask is a year older. Jack Nicholson is older than Cher. She doesn't have a love interest in Jimmy Dean that we see on screen. Right. And I think she and oh my God, I forgot that actress's name in Silkwood. Diana Scarwood.
Oh yeah.
So this is around the time she's dating Eric Stoltz, who is how much younger than her?
No, so
and played her son in
so actually,
her last movie.
The original gender swap age gap relationship.
So I'm wrong. Diana Scarwood is 10 years younger than Cher, which I don't think it reads that way. But yeah, so I was just like, Dennis, how old is Dennis Quaid? Like the whole time I'm like, this is like young Dennis Quaid, right? And I looked it up, and he's like 8 years younger than her, I guess. The guy
maybe you notice it more because she makes a point to sleep with a senator that is like 25 years older than him or something.
Yeah.
Remember like early on in the film?
Well, the guy that she's dating in 1987, do you guys know about this man?
No.
Okay.
Sonny Bono?
No. His name was Rob Camilletti or something, but like he was not famous. He literally worked in a bagel shop. He was like a 22-year-old guy who worked in a bagel shop.
Bagel boy, they would call him, I think.
They called him the Bagel Boy.
Yeah.
And she's like,
I was like, Alan, why are you bullying this man?
No, that's what they called him.
From 40 years ago.
And he's like, there's like a really big age difference. And also, like,
so she met him in a bagel shop or something?
Yes, and then she tried to get him cast in her music videos.
The epic love story of Cher and the Bagel Boy.
I mean, it's very Moonstruck.
He's pretty
actually.
handsome.
It's literally Moonstruck. So
she was just researching the role.
It was
he's kind of handsome. Who does he look like?
Peter Vack. Like he does,
very
right?
Vack, actually.
Holy shit! You're right. He does. Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
I just saw Peter Vack at the Our Hero Balthazar Tribeca premiere the other night. We gotta make we could make a Peter Vack, and I don't know who would play Cher. But that movie could play at the Roxy for days and days.
Days and days, and we'd go see it at least once.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tried to get him cast in a music video as her love interest for her song "I Found Someone." And the director was like, like, why am I casting this rando who you're sleeping with in this high
for
profile
her hit single, "Keep Your Eye on the Bagel and Not the Hole"?
Right. So do you know what Cher does?
What does she do?
Goes, "Fuck you." And then she's like, "I'm going to direct this music video myself." And then she casts the Bagel Boy in it. And then the music video is just them making out the whole time.
Nice.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I would just love
She was her everything bagel. Sorry. I bet they went on a real schmear campaign after that one. One could call this a real caper, if you will. All right. Anyway, all right. That's it.
God. Wow.
All right.
Somebody
Queens, stop me.
Too. Yeah, he's from Queens. She met her when they stopped in on a night out with friends at her 40th birthday party. So they were out partying and then went and stopped and got bagels and then hit on this guy.
Get the fuck out of here.
Holy shit.
That's fucking awesome.
What?
But
wow.
This was
dude, this should have been an 86th, man. This should have been an
I know.
film. Like,
oh my God, yes.
I could have actually based it on something real and not some.
Like you could totally see like a pop star coming in that deli and like, you know, hitting on Frankel.
I'm trying to imagine who I could have gotten to play Cher.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a Julia Fox role.
It really would be. Oh yeah.
I just saw her last night at Tribeca as well.
Humble brag. No, Cher's dating in this. We talked about the Eric Stoltz thing, but like she in the mid '80s, she dates Eric Stoltz, Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, and the Bagel
Yep.
Boy,
The Bagel Boy.
Wow.
which is just like
I wish she would have married the
diva
Bagel
behavior.
Boy.
It
Yeah.
is
They-
pretty amazing.
Apparently, they're still in touch. He's like a private pilot now, and sometimes he flies her.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
I feel like
He's my private pilot. Pilot for
my
money.
private pilot.
I'm trying to imagine, like, because now in my mind I'm just seeing 86 with Cher's being like, "How's the whitefish?" You know.
They should have talked to the Bagel Boy for season 2 of The Rehearsal. Like, get him in.
Oh my God.
Talking about his relationship with Cher when he flies her, and how good communication can work after 40 years of friendship.
That is true.
Mhm.
That is true. I'm still watching. I haven't gotten. I'm barely on episode 2. But,
Okay, it's great. You gotta.
Well, actually, hold on. Can I just say, if we're gonna start talking about Moonstruck, the first thing I wrote down was just music by Dick Hyman. That was the first thing I
God
noticed in the
bless
opening
him.
credits. Yeah.
Wow, is that really? Wow. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yep. And actually, and well, actually, wait. This relates later to the plot because John Mahoney's in this movie, so I'm not going to bring him up just yet. But I will say, well, he's early enough. He's in this movie early on enough. But I'm gonna. It's crazy that we're doing double duty on John Mahoney, Frasier's dad. Because he's again such a stand-up guy in Frasier. He's such a moral compass on that show, and I don't know why he's got to be such a bag of shit in these 2 movies. And in Pretty in Pink. I feel like, but he does have a very manipulative smile, which I think is what is great about him.
Wait,
You were
is he
talking
in
about
Pretty in Pink or Say Anything?
Say Anything. Sorry,
Right.
Say Anything. Yeah,
Because like it's used to real good effect in Say Anything because he is presented as such the moral upright guy, and it's like very devastating in that movie to realize that he's like a swindler or whatever, and
Yeah.
it kind of causes
Yeah.
her to grow up. And then, in Frasier, he's used as a sort of like, apolitical
Yeah.
Archie Bunker, in the sense of like, he's a kind of like salt of the earth guy that's like, in opposition to Frasier's like fuddy-duddy,
Pretentiousness or
erudite, whatever. But like, they have common ground on their sort of like, morals and sort of how they think people should be treated.
Well, he's
But he's-
It always winds up.
He's always a great actor. I love when he shows up in things.
Yeah.
He's really good in The American President. He plays Sidney Allen Wade, played by Annette Bening, her boss. That's like part of a liberal like environmentalist group or whatever. He's always good in his character actor parts.
Yeah. So sorry, that's a tangent because he doesn't really have much to do with the movie. But his segment is, I mean, it's amidst the tapestry of these last acceptable Italian stereotypes. It's yeah, because this whole movie is just one big forget about it. Like it's just
Moonstruck.
Yeah. Not the American President.
The big fat Greek wedding of its time.
Oh, completely. Yeah. I mean, it's fine. She's fine in the role, but dude, everyone's hamming it up so hard in this movie.
So I do like this. Yeah, I think we can move on from Suspect because there's not a ton to talk about really there. But
I'm sorry. I feel like you're coming in hot against Moonstruck, and no. Excuse me. Also, like, am I the only Italian on this call right now? Like, we gave permission.
Okay, fair.
I will say Moonstruck is not one of my movies. So I'm really happy to have an Italian queen, Marie Bardi Salinas, with her wrists shaking to talk about it. I certainly really like this movie and I think it's very good, but I probably saw it for the first time 5 years ago. It was like definitely a kind of mainstream classic that I had missed and sort of not dismissed, but like I don't know, just kind of like wasn't that interested in my, nascent cinephilia. And no, especially once you start like getting into like more being a pretentious dickhead, which I certainly was. Norman Jewison is a really easy director to kind of be like, we don't care about his movies,
Also,
and
I do want to just clarify, when I said one big forget about it, it wasn't like my review of the movie. I was just saying,
you weren't saying to literally forget about it.
I wasn't pulling like a Gene Shalit, as like, Moonstruck was one, or who's
I feel like this film is so much more than just a series of ethno stereotypes.
It's not just a bunch of Family Guy flashbacks.
No.
I'm Sandy Kenyon with the New York Movie Minute. I thought Moonstruck was one big forget about it. Yeah.
Also, like, can you explain how noted Italian John Patrick Shanley taps so deep into the mores of Italian Brooklynites?
I mean, John Patrick Shanley, God love him. I haven't seen Wild Mountain Thyme. Have you seen Wild Mountain Thyme, you guys?
I sure have not.
I've heard it's a little cuckoo bananas. But
I mean, I've seen Doubt.
Doubt feels like the one outlier.
I've also seen.
Wait,
I have a funny. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So John Patrick Shanley's a famous playwright and screenwriter. He wrote Doubt. He also wrote Joe versus the Volcano.
Nice.
He has sort of a strange career. I have a good story from him, and it will tie into the Italian American thing.
By the way, I'm just going to say as a side note, so now I've been in San Antonio for the past couple months. For those who don't know, I've been working on a record, and there was a club growing up that they would do ads for on the radio that was called Joe's Volcano.
Wow.
That I never got to go to, and in my mind I somehow conflated the movie. It's just like it was a club that was like Joe versus Volcano themed. But anyway, continue.
I've never seen that movie. It was kind of a notorious.
You've never seen Joe versus the Volcano?
No.
Oh my God, it's gonna make you fall in love with 3 different types of Meg Ryan.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like that movie's kind of a notorious flop that then like is now been reclaimed. But so I will say, so I have a friend, I won't name him, that a couple friends, one's a writer, one's an actor, that is part of this like theater group in New York that is run by John Patrick Shanley and Chaz Palminteri. And I got invited, notorious, Italian American playwright and actor Chaz Palminteri. I got invited to some reading of my friend of like the first draft of like a 1 act or whatever, and they like give feedback, and I was just like, sure, I'll fucking go to this. And it was a first draft, and it didn't go that well, and I got to watch John Patrick Shanley and Chaz Palminteri in a full-on tracksuit, like the gangster character from The Simpsons, just lay into my friends, just being like, you should have never written this. I don't know what you were thinking. Like, this should not have been put up in front of this audience. Like, you should throw this in the garbage. And so that was my one in-person experience with John Patrick Shanley. But this, I will say, is a very good screenplay and very funny and charming and weird and interesting. But it does, like, I don't know if it's the start of it, but it does have a lot of tropes that are then exploited in lesser movies like to come.
Yeah.
Do you disagree with that?
I care. Again, not that I care that the whole movie feels like you're like walking through a gift shop in Little Italy. Like, I don't. It's it's funny. It's funny. I think all the jokes work, but it's like, I just wish that Jewison would have told it's like, all right, you're at a 12, maybe some of these lines, at an 11 or a 10 or something. But that, yeah. So, all right, Marie,
I
to your
disagree completely. The best thing about Moonstruck is that it has like really real grounded feelings at the center of a magical realist and
Of
heightened
course.
story.
I think you are right. But wait, let's go down the list here. So Cher is
All right, yeah. Well, you tell the plot. I'm gonna go
ahead.
to the bathroom.
Go
So
ahead.
Moonstruck is neither struck me nor is about a moon. Talk amongst yourselves.
So Moonstruck is about a bunch of people in Brooklyn. They get struck by a moon. Because you know the song, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. That literally happens to Italians. And it happens to the characters of Moonstruck, who see a big ass moon and they all go crazy.
Yeah, I like that movie better when it was called Moonfall from 2022.
That
This
movie's
is
a
so
piece of shit.
disrespectful.
Dude, holy shit. Vincent Gardenia was nominated for an Oscar for this, too. I didn't know.
Olympia Dukakis
She
won.
won. Wow. People had Moonstruck fever.
I still have Moonstruck fever. Most people have Moonstruck fever.
No,
It's just
I
that
know,
you guys
I
are
know.
fucking
Marie,
pussy-ass bitches who are afraid of having big feelings.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? Mask is actually a masterpiece because I feel like Bogdanovich was so restrained. Moonstruck is so stupid how they use her hands to talk. She cries at the opera. Sorry.
No, I think.
I'm offended.
I do think that this movie is very good. I just don't care about it.
It doesn't hit the.
as
I think,
other
yeah.
people.
Because
Yes.
this strikes me as like a romantic comedy that, for a lot of people, is just like, it's
in their DNA.
In there,
yes.
yeah. I feel like you feel about this movie the way that my mom feels about like Something's Gotta Give or something. Like I feel.
No,
like
I probably feel the way your mom feels about Something's Gotta Give as well.
Well, that's also great.
Movie.
Yeah. Which also has another cheesy.
I just rewatched that the other night. Actually.
Yeah, that has the other the Edith Piaf song. When I did French in French in high school. During quizzes, he would just play the something. My French teacher would just play the Something's Gotta Give soundtrack, so I became very, very familiar with every fucking song on that soundtrack. Great soundtrack.
Crazy Town, is that the song?
Come my lady, come my lady, you're my butterfly, sugar.
Well, the one I just remember that Hans Texas soilman or a French describing all the people that are courting. I don't know.
I guess this is what I would say is that like it is, and it's not totally dissimilar to Nancy Meyers or James L. Brooks or some of these other great sort of romantic comedy dramas, family movies, right?
And for the record, I love when they go to the opera. Okay, I'm just gonna say that.
Incredible. It's great.
It's great.
And I think Nicolas Cage. I think Cher is incredible in this movie, and I think Nicolas Cage is on fire in this movie, and like has that alchemy of kind of crazy, alive guy that like just has enough charm and sort of.
And to be fair, this Moonstruck is an opera. If you boil,
exactly.
If you dissect the plot, that's essentially what it feels like. I mean, and of course,
that's sort of what I'm getting at, where it's like. A lot of these movies have these like very bizarre and specific kind of tangents or character or plot details that like as the years go by and as they're sort of, just famous and beloved movies kind of get glossed over. And then when you have the directors making similar movies that didn't work, they just stand out as, incredibly insane. Like I'm thinking of like, in James L. Brooks, like, how do you know, like, everyone's like a minor league baseball player. And it's like, it's like that would work in a different movie, but it doesn't in this. And like Nick Cage, having lost his hand and won't talk to his brother and loves the opera. It's like, it just kind of works and you don't know why, but it does. And I do love the comparison of this movie to an opera because it's like we were talking about it before, and having watched it the other night, I think it was only the second time I watched it, the scene going from she meets him for the first time. They're arguing. They're sleeping together. Is on paper a ridiculous leap, but the two actors totally sell it.
Yes.
Can I pose a question?
Yes.
Thank you. I forget who said this. Someone famously said this. It's either a famous person or someone we know. That Cher is the only believable love interest on screen for Nicolas Cage. That he has never had a believable romance on screen with any other performer except for Cher in this movie.
Whoa.
What about John Travolta
I don't
in
know
Face
who
Off?
said that because I've never heard that before.
Really? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Only.
So wait, we're not counting John Travolta in Face
I
Off.
just made that joke.
Did you?
I literally did.
That's a good joke, though.
It is a good, well, not even Wild at Heart. Come on, y'all.
Oh yeah, isn't Wild at Heart the answer? Yeah, good.
I mean,
what about Raising Arizona? Yeah, I think that's sort of something that sounds good, but Wild at Heart and Raising Arizona are two strong counterexamples.
Yeah. Also,
What about-
Valley Girl.
Figure out who fucking said this.
What about Bringing Out the Dead? I mean,
Oh, who's the
just-
love interest in that? Is
It's
Patricia
either Patricia
Arquette.
Arquette,
Yeah.
who he
Yeah.
was in a relationship with in real life.
I'm not saying that's like some great romance, but I certainly buy them in that together. I mean, I do think Peggy Sue Got Married, obviously she hates what he's doing and hates his guts, and that's very clear. But I do think that Holly Hunter and Raising Arizona, like I buy that romance entirely, and same with Wild at Heart.
Maybe it's more believable for him because she's also like really going toe to toe performance wise and selling it likewise. Yeah.
And I do think
no
that,
shade to Laura Dern because I do think that
it's like unlike Laura Dern, she certainly is.
No,
Yeah.
she also crushes it.
But
I
do
also
think
neither of them are as big in that movie as some of the other characters.
I mean, this is Cher's movie.
Laura Dern is pretty big,
but she's not as big as Diane Ladd and fucking Willem Dafoe.
Well, yeah.
I think that Cage in Wild at Heart is like weirdly restrained.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Yes.
Yeah. But I do think that in Moonstruck, Cher and Nick Cage's chemistry is really unusual. And I can't think of a lot of
I agree that it is electric and sort of it's electricity, and it has to do with how unbelievable it feels, that it's just like, but you just buy it because they just sell it, and like I guess not unbelievable, I mean improbable.
I lost my hand. Yeah.
Bring me the big knife.
So all right. So I will say the things that I do love about this movie. I love if a movie's going to be about love, and it's going to be an opera. You definitely need a bunch of rhetorical musing about the nature of love, and I do love that the mother character that is being cheated on by the husband then starts going around asking people why do men chase women, and I did love Danny Aiello's answer about like Adam's rib that God used to make. He was like, hey, she wants maybe every guy just wants his rib back, or I lost a part of me. I forget exactly what he says, but there's a lot of fantastic writing. There's also another line I wrote down that Nicolas Cage says. It said where he tells Cher, playing it safe is just about the most dangerous thing a woman like you can do, which I also think is a great fucking line to put in a romance movie.
It's also interesting. We should talk about like her hair's gray at the beginning, or at least has like, streaks of gray, right?
Yeah.
And
she's playing into like her age, kind of.
Right. And she's what, 40?
Yeah, she's 40, which is very much not old, but her age has been like a major source of like tabloid conversation for a while
Sure.
because she always dates younger men, or
Right.
at least this point forward.
But I think that that's something that's very cool and interesting in that she plays into that. She still looks fabulous, but in a real way. She's not like, it's not like she's taking like the Vaseline filter or whatever.
Yeah.
And like her little bit of hair is, or her little bit of gray is sort of tasteful.
No, I was gonna, when he said Vaseline filter, I was going to make a big old boy joke, but I'll let you keep going. Just keep going.
But then she does get her hair done, and everyone comments on it or whatever. She does. It's one of those. It's a good version of the sort of makeover scene where it's like, I think she looks beautiful and classy before she gets the makeover, and then afterwards she just is like feeling herself a little bit more, and it's great. So it's not like this like ridiculous kind of transformation. It's just that she's sort of like, putting herself out there more or whatever.
Yeah,
and
well, she's a lot more dressed down in the movie, because she's already settled into this relationship with somebody she doesn't love, right? That she's going to do because
she thinks that she's cursed.
Oh.
Right.
And
her first husband was hit by a bus. Yes.
Right.
And she kind of has given up on finding like joy in life and pleasure because she, I guess, feels like she doesn't deserve it because she feels guilty for.
Right. And Danny Aiello is like a sort of nice enough guy that's like obvious of a guy that she should marry.
He's
not that awful, right?
No,
like he's okay.
Like perfectly normal awful in a way that I think is so compelling.
Right.
Because they could have like made him skeezy, but they're like, no, this guy's just like lame.
Exactly.
He has a teddy bear quality.
Another movie where he plays a similar part around the same time is The Purple Rose of Cairo, where he's way worse. Like it's a similar kind of guy, but he's like abusive. He's an asshole. He's a piece of shit. He's cheating on her. He's a dickhead. And like, I kind of like how gently he's portrayed in this.
Well, he can do both in the same movie because that's kind of how I feel like he is in Do the Right Thing, where you have moments where he's being very sweet about his community, and then just scenes where he just fucking flies off the handle.
I mean, we should say it's like, I love Danny Aiello. I think he was R.I.P. like, underrated as an actor. I don't know if he ever, if he really did have the depth or range of like De Niro or even Keitel, but like he is so good and Do the Right Thing that like the movie almost doesn't work without him.
Sure.
Like he's unbelievable in that movie.
He also, Jacob's Ladder, like to me, like he can be such a teddy bear when you need him to be, and that's what I feel like he brings. He brings the same sort of like the heavenly angelic chiropractor in Jacob's Ladder is like same sort of vibe where he's just this like sweet, reassuring, but obviously in Moonstruck he's a lot more neurotic in addition to that.
Right. That's a good word to use because it's like, that's what makes him really funny in this movie is he's like unexpectedly neurotic.
Yeah. Can I go on a brief Danny Aiello tangent?
Yeah. You want to go on you want to go do an Aiello angle, an Aiello corner?
Okay, so Danny Aiello in 1986, the year before Moonstruck, famously appears as Papa in Papa Don't Preach, the music video.
Yeah.
Okay?
This is a music podcast after all. So,
okay. And so he wasn't just, he like didn't do that. It wasn't like there was no drama. He had beef with Madonna. He actually like started a feud with her, and he released his own diss track.
What?
Wait.
What
do you mean release?
Now I actually think that celebrities having social media is better than Danny Aiello releasing a diss track. Jesus Christ.
It's called Papa Wants the Best for You. And his response to Madonna, like just defaming him and men like him in Papa Don't Preach.
Wait, he's in the music video. So wait, their dispute was as performers together, or he was fundamentally upset about the message of the song?
I think it's both. I don't know what happened first and like it bled into this other thing, but like he would like shit talk Madonna till the day that she died, and he, I guess he like
she's
was
the day that he died.
She's alive.
Sorry, the day that he died. The day that he died, and it was just like, I guess he wasn't familiar with her game, or like he felt like she had tricked him, and then this music video is truly just like.
Well, it opens on a shot of the World Trade Center.
And it's like, look, I'm just like a blue collar guy, and I'm your dad, and I may not, have the most elegant way of saying things, but I just want the best for you, kid.
It only has 17,000 views on YouTube.
It's like, it is so fucking funny.
Wild.
Wow, I'm so glad. I don't think we can watch this live necessarily, but I'm so glad that you told us about this.
Yeah, save it. Well, when this show is up and running and on social media, we'll link to it.
Well, exactly
this
right.
Makes me like
Thank
Danny
you, social
even
media
more.
manager Marie, and also we can talk about it again when we inevitably do our Madonna series of episodes.
This makes me like Danny more. That's the.
just a born hater,
Papa just wants the best for you.
Wow,
but,
that's very fascinating.
Of course, they cast the guy who was too square for Madonna to be the guy that Cher is like, no, you're too square for me too, in a movie the next year. So we have the parallel plot where while Cher is trying to figure out her own shit with, now that her engagement to Danny Aiello has gotten complicated by the fact that she's sleeping with his fucked up younger brother,
who he doesn't speak to. Yes.
She also learns that her father, Vincent Gardenia, is having an affair.
Academy Award nominee Vincent Gardenia is having an affair with a sort of very I'm sorry to this woman, but a very tacky lady, in my opinion. Compared to
Olympia Dukakis, who's
the classy lioness, just what every mother aspires to be. Olympia Dukakis in this movie.
Yes,
I love her.
Yeah. And I think Cher discovers them at the opera when she's there.
Yes, they both are taking their affair partners to the opera together. I think in the case of Vincent Gardenia, her father, he's taking her to a place where, this feels like a little bit of a different time in New York where
it's
things
classy.
Were very separated or whatever, and no one from Brooklyn Heights would ever go to the opera. Obviously I don't think that's really true anymore, but he's taking her somewhere that he thinks no one will see them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's, Cher might have that in the back of her mind as well. But then they run into each other. And she, they both kind of freak out.
Yes.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I did note that was one of my favorite scenes. I thought the confrontation was really funny. And it again, a running theme of this podcast is to there's always a Simpsons reference for everything. But yeah, it's like when Homer's skipping work and Bart is playing hooky and they run into each other on the street and pretend not to recognize each other with the lamest disguises. One just a comb as a mustache. He's like, good day to you, sir. Hello. So they both get
or when Grandpa
busted.
Walks into the brothel and just turns around and walks right out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought that confrontation was great, but
it's a great, it's one of the great being moved by a work of art scenes that you've never had any context for or experienced before, scenes in movies. I love it. There's a similar scene in
The Untouchables.
Well, I was gonna say Jonathan Glazer's Birth, which is a masterpiece, but it's also a little different because Nicole Kidman had her character had context for opera. Like she had been to the opera before. She's a rich
Right.
person. But there is a great shot in that movie that is just like this one long 3-minute zoom in on her and her like sort of single tear kind of experiencing this. But it's a great, like, I'm trying to think of other examples, but like it's a great thing to watch somebody be moved by something that they didn't understand before they
Right.
experienced it. And just the sort of like universal power of art.
Don't they do it in Pretty Woman too? He takes her to the opera. And she also has like an emotional reaction to it that she wasn't anticipating.
I always just think of the Maisel brothers documentaries about Christo and Jean-Claude. Have y'all ever seen any of those?
No.
There was a Plexi-film box set that I bought like in college, and I don't think you can find them very easily anymore. Like they'll screen at like MoMA, but there was one where I think one of his first things that it was commissioned was the hanging curtain, and it was like literally just a curtain between these two mountains or these two cliffs, I guess. So they have, but to do that, you have to hire just a bunch of like blue collar construction guys to run a cable through these things, and they don't understand who this, like, you know, this French art couple that's making this thing. I don't fucking know who they are. But by the end, there's this really great shot where you see one of the workers like looking at the finished product, and he's just like, "Man, that there's a vision. That's beautiful right there." You know? And it's such, and I love. That's like one of my favorite. Just.
I mean, and Marie just sent us an article that we can mention, but there's also an Abbas Kiarostami film. That is a bunch of actresses watching a movie theater screen.
It's like an Iranian movie?
Yes. That like is, and it's like Juliette Binoche and like other people, and watching something off screen. It's sort of a reference to Godard's Vive Sèvres, where she's watching Passion of Joan of Arc, and then, you know, as Marie just sent us in this article, there's a great opera scene in Margaret, which is also like an incredible masterpiece. There's also like, this is like a totally stupid thing, but like there's this great episode of Party Down, this Steve Guttenberg episode, and it's all the characters, and they're at this, you know, rich guy's house. You know, Steve Guttenberg plays himself, and, you know, he's trying to teach them how to like be sophisticated and like look at this art or whatever. And like Megan Mullally is there, and then she brings her friend who's like her housekeeper, and it's the woman from it's the housekeeper from Clueless, who's like really funny, and he's trying to explain art to them, and Megan Mullally kind of like doesn't get it, but she's trying to be sophisticated. And then the housekeeper is looking at this like, you know, abstract art, and she goes, "This is a painting of a feeling." And it's like, yeah, that's exactly fucking right. Yeah. And I just like always remember that. It's just like fucking great. Like that's really good writing of just like somebody just like understanding something at a fundamental level that like they don't need a fucking art education from a fancy college to understand. Like the best art, whether it's, you know, a cartoon or a Charlie Chaplin silent short or an abstract painting, like if it works, it gets you in your soul, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you know, and like Moonstruck really captures that.
Oh yeah. Well, she certainly worked her way into the souls of the Oscar voters that year. Marie, why don't you tell us a little bit
Nice transition. Well done. Well done.
So as we discussed in part 1 of this Cher double episode,
Cher double. Nice.
She was very upset to be snubbed by the Academy for Mask. So,
yes, and she blamed Bogdanovich and his tantrum about the studio changing the music from Bruce Springsteen to Bob Seger.
Bob, not Pete Seeger.
Thank you. Look, I don't. She's probably right.
Yeah.
Like Bogdanovich was already on the shit list of Hollywood for many reasons. For Daisy Miller all the way up through. They were happy to punish him and put him in his place. Cher should have gotten an Oscar nomination for Mask. She won Best Actress at Cannes. Like, it makes sense. And so she wanted an Oscar.
I also do think that, yes, you have, like, maybe the Bogdanovich of it all was another element, but I think she wasn't taken seriously.
Well, do you think that the Academy had a Bagel Boy bias?
Anti-Bagel Boy bias. Well, no, I think this happens with Madonna, who is, I mean, a wonderful, like, artist and creative force, but not a great actress. Definitely not as great an actress as Cher is. But I agree with that. There is Cher doesn't conduct herself in a way that seems particularly
that a starlet that's courting an Oscar nomination. Correct. Or being courted by an Oscar nomination.
The way that she dresses, the tabloid attention, she's courting all kinds of controversy for the Turn Back Time videos. She's like, half naked. Ass out on like a naval airship carrier with a bunch of soldiers.
Similar to how Prince is ass out, Alan.
Eventually all the greats go ass out at some point. I don't know why Dylan didn't, but
Wow. He did. I mean, Empire Burlesque is a sort of version of being ass out. But Marie, let me ask you this: Is Cher the most famous musician that has actually won an Oscar for acting?
No.
Who is the answer to that?
Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that.
You're absolutely right. Yeah. And he won for From Here to Eternity.
Correct.
Yeah,
right.
Brought his career back.
I think
but she's second, right? I mean,
she's gotta be second.
Lady Gaga doesn't win, which she should have, in my opinion. For A Star Is Born.
I don't think she should have
won that year.
Olivia Colman. She's the right winner in that. I think she's phenomenal in The Favorite.
Okay.
She's pretty good.
I mean, that it's just denying what she. I mean, surely we could have waited and given her the Oscar this year for The Roses.
Well, we can't always see into the future, but hindsight is 2020.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe Moonstruck is the legacy Oscar that corrects the mistake of Mask.
No, but it's a very good. I think that the Academy is, very resistant to giving people like this even nominations, certainly let alone wins.
I mean, there is some precedence for it. Like Diana Ross was nominated a few times. Or just once.
Was she nominated for?
She was nominated for Lady Sings the Blues.
Lady Sings the Blues, which is a very good underrated movie. Did we see that together at BAM?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wait, did we?
I thought we did.
No, we saw. Did we see something else?
Lady Sings the Blues is a very good movie where
Maybe
Diana Ross plays Billie Holiday. And Richard Pryor plays her like manager, like ne'er-do-well.
I haven't seen this. I'm gonna
put this. I haven't seen it. I think you saw it without me, but it was
maybe
a trivia.
I invited you or something.
It was like a trivia answer one night.
It's a really good underrated movie. Also a recent trivia answer I think is Richard Pryor's movie he wrote and directed and starred in that's
Jojo
based
Dancer.
on his life called Jojo Dancer, Your Life is Calling, which is excellent as well. Anyway, I mean, it's just interesting that like Cher is, out of all the people we're going to talk about on this podcast, and like all the careers and like all these things, like Cher might be the only person we talk about other than Frank Sinatra that actually won an Oscar for acting.
Even Chris Christopherson?
No, I don't even think he was ever nominated.
No.
Wow. Okay,
And
we might have to do a deep dive here to verify this claim.
I'm
but
pretty
you might
sure
be
I'm right.
You might
He
be right.
certainly.
Yeah.
I believe.
There are people who are like, Barbara Streisand has won an Oscar, but like, and
not
she's
for acting.
Yes, she did.
Oh, for Funny Girl, yeah.
For Funny
but
Girl.
That was before she was like a pop star, though.
She's.
I know.
I think they're happening so concurrently. It's not
fine.
And that also, that happens a lot as like the idea of like an entertainer shifts, where like Frank Sinatra, I guess, was a bigger singer than he ever was an actor, and that was slightly unusual, but they did always try to parallel path it. Like they just kept putting Elvis in movies and like so it was like just something that you like thought you were supposed to do. And I think it's less common now, or at least it's become like more of a, if you want to do it, be smart about it, because you don't want to like.
Also, according to the internet, Doris Day for Pillow Talk.
Also, I mean, I guess
and Jennifer Hudson.
Mark Wahlberg has been nominated.
She was
for an Oscar.
Doris Day was nominated. She didn't win. Mark Wahlberg was nominated for an Oscar. Mary J. Blige was nominated for an Oscar. Queen Latifah's nominated for an Oscar for Chicago.
But like Bowie wasn't. Like Tom Waits wasn't. Justin Timberlake wasn't for Social Network, which like that was talked about was going to happen. You know.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting that like we went through this sort of short period of time, and she goes from like doing Broadway to doing basically a filmed play, and then 5 movies later wins an Oscar, and like deservedly, and like she's great. I mean, the fact that like every movie we talked about except Suspect is like basically great to a masterpiece. It's not even good to great. It's great to a masterpiece. Yeah. Basically. Like that's pretty fucking amazing. Like
also this year that she wins Best Actress, I think it's very deserved, and it is like a fairly
Who
iconic.
is she up against?
She is up against. It is a really, really tough year. So she is up against. So these are the 2 ones that are at the bottom. So no chance that they were going to win. You have Meryl Streep in Ironweed, which is like lesser Meryl.
Right. Her movie she made with Jack Nicholson, which I have not seen.
And then you also have Sally Kirkland for a movie called Anna. And Sally Kirkland, this was like proto Melissa Leo, where she like ran her own campaign. And it was like a small movie that no one saw, but she like hustled.
Consider ...
Exactly. So those are the 2 that are like, okay, they round out the category. But you have Cher in Moonstruck, Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction, another iconic performance.
Yes.
Agreed.
And then Holly Hunter in Broadcast News. Those are 3 all-time performances.
I'm sorry, that would have been my vote.
But here's the thing. This is how fucked up the Oscars are. They probably should have given Cher the Oscar in '85 for Mask. They don't. So then
who were the Best Actress nominees in '85?
I believe it's Geraldine Page in The Trip to Bountiful,
a movie I've never heard of once in my life. Anne Bancroft and Agnes of God, Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple, Jessica Lange in Sweet Dreams, and Meryl Streep in Out of Africa.
So Geraldine Page.
I've only seen one of these movies, The Color Purple.
This is like
how Cher should have ran the table this year.
Right, but they give it to Geraldine Page because she's playing an old woman, and she is an old woman, and she's been nominated like 8 fucking times, and she's never won.
So they're backlogged.
it's just the Oscars are just a continuous backlog until they aren't.
Right.
And it's so
right.
random the years that they decide to award a new.
But you're right.
like,
I
nominee.
think if we're remaking history, we nominate and give Cher the win for the 1985 Oscars, and then Holly Hunter.
I
wins
think we
for
give it
broadcast news.
No, we give the Oscar to Glenn Close. Because
So we finally get that out of the way.
So Glenn gets that out of the way. That's her most iconic performance. And then Holly's going to win for the piano, and she should have won for the piano as well.
Right.
I agree she should have won for the piano, but she kind of should have two, I think. And then the problem with the Glenn Close one, it's like, I know what you're saying, and I do think she's incredible in that movie, but it's like, the whole Glenn Close's due thing, it's like, what movie would you really give it to her for? I mean, like,
That one.
in what other universe does someone win for a blockbuster thriller, erotic thriller? Like,
But
I know what you're saying in retrospect,
That's
but like,
the problem.
I know, but like, I just don't see that happening.
But also, like, Moonstruck is it's a crowd pleasing rom-com. Like, this is not high art. It's it's not a thriller, but it still is like a popcorn genre movie.
Right, I know what you mean. Right,
yeah,
where it's like
where
every once in a
not
while
that many people win for popcorn rom-coms either.
Right. But sometimes they're the safe bet that sweeps when it becomes like a cultural phenomenon, right?
Right,
Yeah.
like you have like Emma Stone in La La Land.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone in 1987 would have imagined a world where, the wife exists and
Right.
and like Glenn Close still doesn't have an Oscar and like, gets JD Vance, to become the vice president,
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm really glad Cher has her Oscar. I watch the clip of her winning her Oscar all the time because I love it so much because she's so genuinely excited. And I felt this way when Timothée Chalamet won the SAG, where he got on stage and he was like admitted that he really wanted it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I hate more than actors pretending to be humble. Like, I'm assuming neither of you watched the Tonys on Sunday night, but fucking Nicole Scherzinger, who is like amazing in Sunset Boulevard, but like, let's be real, she gets up on stage and she's like weeping. She talks about how she was just like an outsider who never fit in. And I'm like, excuse me, like, you have been like the hottest woman alive for the past 30 years. You're in your 50s and you're doing splits on stage every night. Like, when have you ever not been like...
Also, isn't she
hot and
MAGA?
successful?
Didn't
So it was
Escola
just
call her out for that?
kind of, they backtracked on it today. But
okay.
but still, it's
I
like I love when
Nicole
actors
needs to backtrack at it, but we all saw the clip. We know what
yeah.
they meant.
Yeah. But I love when like she gets up there and she's like, I really, really wanted this, and I really, really wanted your approval, and I felt for so long that I didn't belong here, and that you didn't take me seriously as an actress, and I've always taken myself seriously, and so thank you.
Yeah,
for
and
seeing
like,
that.
and she deserved it, and it's like, how cool! Think about how cool this is. Is that like, this is like a famous, iconic pop star who's one of the most famous people who ever fucking lived, and her first acting role was in an ensemble of a Robert Altman play. Like, that's really cool. You know what I mean? Like, Robert Altman.
Well,
who was not,
don't
who was,
exclude the movie that Sonny Bono produced.
But like a down and out Robert Altman. Like, not even at the height of his powers. Like, she's just like, I want to learn how to act from this, like, around this guy. Not from this guy, but like around this guy. Like, I just think that's so fucking cool, man.
It's kind of what
like,
Charlie XCX is doing
her.
now, man. It's like, once you're at the height of your popularity, and he's
maybe.
Well,
we'll
none
see.
of the movies have. Yeah, we'll see.
Literally, none of the
We will
movies
see.
have come out.
I'm reserving
and you
Of
know,
course.
we'll see if
we must. We should.
We'll see if every single one of them premieres at the Roxy for one day, because that is a little bit of the crowd that is being courted here.
Sure.
But no, I'm being a little shitty. I think that I'm very, very curious and excited to see what she does in cinema. If you follow her on Letterboxd, she does genuinely watch really good movies and is like, you know, seems like a real cinephile. So yeah, I'm excited to see what she does.
Although I do think that you know,
my point is more that there's no Robert Altman's.
No, I was gonna. Although I will say it was a little extra to like to literally to advertise your favorite directors in hopes that they might cast you in one of their movies one day during a festival performance. Just gonna put that out there.
I will never forget Sean Price Williams' Summer.
Yeah, I think
he was in there.
Summer.
I think we can agree that was cringe.
And he didn't get shared because no one except us knows who he is. But
you know, he shot her movie. You know, she has like 10 movies in the can right now, but one of them is only, I believe, only one of them is produced by her, and he shot it. Our mutual friend Sean Price Williams, who is great and super talented, and we love, but is also like weirdly, I don't know, kind of a meme of
and the last guy and the last guy that wants to be part of like a zeitgeisty, like he's such a curmudgeon. That's why I love him and why I work with him.
But yes, that did say Sean Price Williams Summer.
Yeah, so like, please,
you guys, I'm available. I want to see that movie.
So I really enjoyed watching all of these movies for this podcast.
I'm so glad. Thank you for doing it, Marie.
We did it. But I do want to say, like, I don't think I really knew up until researching for this what happened to her in her film career. Because we so quickly decided on Cher in the 80s. And then I was like, wait, why didn't she make more movies in the 90s? And I don't know what I thought happened, but apparently she got sick.
Whoa.
She got like chronic fatigue syndrome or something, and so she had to like turn, because it's like, how does she
fibromyalgia or something?
How does she follow up this like insane year when she's like truly on top of the world, and she now like can do anything basically? Turns out she gets offered everything. She gets offered some really interesting projects in the late 80s, early 90s, and she turns all of them down because she didn't feel like she physically.
So she does a movie where she's laying down the whole time?
I didn't know that. Do you
like
know?
mermaids?
Do you know what she was offered?
Oh wait, no, she doesn't play
Famously, she was offered Midnight Run.
Oh right, I remember you guys talked about that. The Grodin part or the De Niro part?
Let me look it up. Okay, so she was offered Thelma and Louise. She turned that down.
Oh, I did read that. That makes a lot of sense. You could very much see that.
Yeah.
She was offered Addams Family, the Angelica Houston role. She could have been Morticia, which is also phenomenal casting. Yeah. She doesn't do it. The War of the Roses, she was offered. But the only major performance she does in the early 90s is Mermaids, which is 91.
I was confusing that movie with Splash. Sorry, guys. I was just like, what?
1990.
I have not seen Mermaids. We'll do it for the second part of this, or the third part of this. She also does a HBO movie called If These Walls Could Talk, starring her, Demi Moore, Sissy Spacek, and Catherine Keener.
About abortion.
That she co-directs. Damn. With Nancy Savoca, who directed a great 90s indie called Dogfight.
Oh, dude, love that movie.
Yeah, very interesting, sort of strange thing. She does, I assume, a cameo in Pret-a-Porter, works with Altman again, does...
Well, Chad, don't tell him the next episode. You know,
does Notorious Aunt and Grandma movie called Tea with Mussolini. And then burlesque, and then
Mamma Mia, here we go again.
and she's only in the sequel to Mamma Mia.
Correct.
I'm not familiar with the Mamma Mia franchise, but
and she's only in the sequel. I think she plays Meryl's mom.
Okay,
which is wild.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
She's also in the Farrelly Brothers movie Stuck on You.
What?
Oh, excellent movie. As herself. The Farrelly Brothers.
I thought she played like their mom in Stuck on You.
Oh, you might be right.
I was in a
no.
Farrelly
I
Brothers
think she
movie.
plays herself. I think that they're obsessed with her. They're like, she's like their favorite person or something.
Oh yeah, she does play herself. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I thought
Stuck on You is quite good. Like most Farrelly Brothers movies, until they tried to get serious. But no, I didn't know that she had health problems, because you're right. It is a steep drop off in her, focus on acting after this year, after she wins the Oscar.
And it's also like, in the 90s, she stops doing as much music and movies, and she starts trying to figure out other ways to make money. And so she starts getting more into like personal branding,
famously mentioned in Clueless. Where Cher is introducing her and her friend Dion, who are both named after famous pop stars of the 70s and 80s who now do infomercials.
Right.
Yeah. And so like the mail order catalog that I had was also part of this, like, okay, what the fuck is Cher gonna do now? Because she needs to make money.
Interesting.
Sort of stuff that happened. It's really interesting. And then she, the end of the 90s, she comes back to music and gets better.
And
soars like a phoenix.
She'll make us all believe in life after love. I think we can wrap up, and we'll probably do a third follow-up episode to kind of clean up the rest of these movies, because I do think it's interesting, especially this sort of trajectory shift after she wins the Oscar and has a few more iconic movies, but they are very spread out over the next 30 or so years, and maybe we'll do that with Marie in a couple weeks after this. But thank you so much for coming on, and I'm really glad that Alan got to see these great movies. And I really did not know, but truly, like, I really thought you would. I thought you would like. I thought you'd get a kick out of Witches of Eastwick, and I thought that you'd as an Altman fan, like, Jimmy Dean. I really did not think that you would vibe with Mask, and that it made me very happy that you really liked it so much.
That was a big one. Yeah.
And like, man, like, what an impressive fucking career, man. Like, even just this decade, like, she, if these were your only movies and you didn't even make music, like,
this would be a hell of a run.
This would be a very impressive filmography. Like, good for fucking her, man. And, playing queer-coded characters, before it was fashionable, being in, like, these sort of, like, pro-union movies, like, pro disabled community movies. Like, I mean, man, like, it's just an impressive thing. And, like, and not just politically, but like all of these are really, really good movies. Also, like, pro-Italian movies.
Hey, all the while taking a bite out of the bagel boy.
All the while being a pop star. So yeah. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for sharing. Salinas. You can catch her on the Blank Check podcast, and out in the streets of New York, watching good movies at Rep Cinemas.
Getting struck by moons.
Yes,
getting struck by moons.
Like a big piece of pie.
Like a big piece of pie.
That's glaucoma.
Thanks for listening to This Podcast Should Be Played Loud, created, produced, and hosted by Chad Harbold and Alan Palomo. Please remember to rate, review, and follow on your favorite podcast platform, and keep up to date on new free and bonus episodes at patreon.com/This Podcast Should Be Played Loud. Our artwork is by Robert Beatty, and special thanks to Marie Barty and Jorge Palomo.